Do you ever notice the squishy part on the squishy part on the edge of the window, or the refrigerator, or the oven, or the door? It seems to me that the most effective boundaries have soft edges. Now, don't get me wrong, they're not permeable, like water's not coming in, cool's not coming out, but the softness at the edge can actually sometimes be a more effective seal than a pure, rigid boundary. Now, to be clear, I'm not an expert on boundaries. I just read the books my therapist makes me read, and I read the books my friends make me read, and I have learned some things from them. There's an epidemic of loneliness in this country and in the West broadly construed, and we desperately need community. But it's hard to be in community authentically if you don't have a sense of your own identity. For a lot of men in particular, a large portion of our identity is based on the fact that we are individuals, that we don't need anyone else, dang it. Since the boundary is so hard, there's no reliable way to open and close it. Its only way of being is to be permanently closed off. Pause to read this quote from C.S. Lewis. Soften the edge of your boundary. This is true enough that for men, most self-help is not directed towards teaching men how to exist in emotional reciprocity with people and in community, but instead on bettering themselves to the point that maybe eventually one day they will be worthy to have friends. In case it's not clear, I reject this notion. While the traditions of Western philosophy have given us a lot of useful and critical insights, I think it's come time that we begin to learn from indigenous perspectives and Eastern perspectives. Collectivist cultures and cultures that exist in a relationship of collaboration with nature instead of a Garden of Eden stance of dominance in relation to it have much to teach us about how we ought to relate to ourselves and to each other. Yale University Press just sent me a review copy of Ned Blackhawk's new book, The Rediscovery of America. I'm grateful to them for sending it, and I'm also grateful to you watching it. The audience that we've built is the reason I get access to these books in the first place, so truly thank you. It is my sort of naive, blind hope that this book will serve as an intellectual synthesis of The Broken Heart of America and Western expansion in the United States, as well as some of the indigenous ideas from Braiding Sweetgrass that have been changing my entire perspective on the world. I will report back when it has been read and digested, but truthfully and unfortunately and fortunately, I've now reached a point where people are sending me more arcs than I have time for, and I can't justify spending all the time on it without your help, so I'm going to leave my information for how to support me. Patreon is the word. That's the word. Thanks and happy reading.